2 rammings, 30 seconds. A $3.5 trillion sea lane on the line. You're in the right place. Today we break down the chain reaction near Second Thomas Shoal. China Coast Guard hulls hit Filipino boats, water cannons smash decks, and a US P-8 starts feeding eyes on to Aegis.
Moving on to tension simmering between China and the Philippines. In the latest, the two countries have accused each other of causing a maritime clash near disputed islands in the South China Sea.
Meanwhile, jammers haze radar and a single sonar ping hints at something lurking. What forced an escort to flip into deterrence without firing a shot, and why that restraint matters more than any missile. Stay to see the exact ladder: water, steel, electrons, then signals. Comment your call on the ROE decision point. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Manila said a Chinese Coast Guard ship rammed and used water cannons against a Philippine vessel near Thitu Island, while Beijing blamed the Philippines for illegally entering Chinese waters. Chinese ships reportedly approached and used water cannons to drive them away. Minutes later, one Chinese Coast Guard vessel reportedly fired a water cannon directly at a Fisheries Bureau ship. The Philippine Coast Guard said the incident happened on Sunday morning near Thitu Island, known locally as Pagasa. 3 Filipino government vessels were anchored near the island to help local fishermen.
A flare, a sonar ping, and a jammed scope. Why did a destroyer hold fire when metal had already hit metal? The shoal is shallow and crowded. Filipino resupply boats ride low, boxed by larger white-hulled cutters. Pumps are already spun up. Water cannons cough, then hammer. You can hear hull seams flex. Sterns yaw as skippers fight throttle and rudder to keep off the reef. At this range, wake is a weapon. The line between escort and collision shrinks to a boat length. Then steel meets steel. Scratch and thud. Deck gear skitters. A fender pops loose and vanishes. On bridge to bridge, voices step over each other, tight and clipped. Calls for medical checks. Bearing and range barked twice to cut through the noise. On the military net, traffic spikes. Meanwhile, overhead, AP-8 rolls on station and starts a live ISR push. Sensor video stabilized, coordinates burned in, audio clean enough to catch each hail and each denial. This is where the ladder starts to climb. First rung, soft force. Water cannons blind optics, break antennas, flood decks, and turn footing into risk. Second rung, hard contact. Ramming is crude but decisive. One nudge at the wrong angle and a small hull loses steering. Third rung, electronic maneuver. Noise blooms. Spoofed tracks drift. A radar scope jitters. Each rung narrows decision space, each one forces the commander to act faster with less certainty. You don't get more time, you get less. Across the link, US and Philippine tracks line up as blue, white, and neutral symbols. Think of it as a moving map that a whole team can see at once, a shared picture that keeps chaos from winning. Plain language collision warnings cut through in both English and standard bridge phrases: alter course, reduce speed, stand clear.
The Philippines Foreign Affairs Department confirmed that a formal protest would be filed. Photos and videos shared by the Coast Guard showed a Chinese ship shadowing a Filipino vessel with its water cannons activated. and rammed its stern, causing minor damage but no injuries. The Philippine Maritime Council condemned the reported attack and called it an aggressive and illegal act. It said Manila would take appropriate diplomatic action against Beijing.
The legal frame sits under every word, callregs for who yields, an alliance backdrop for who stands with whom. It's not theory, it shapes what you can lawfully say and do in the next 10 seconds. The US escort shifts posture. Aegis goes from routine air and surface watch to threat characterization. You tighten your air search. You gate out clutter. You tag each white hull with firm track numbers. MCON becomes a choice, not a habit, how much to show, how much to hide. Light up and you send a message, we see you. Stay quiet and you preserve options. The ship picks its lane and holds it. Overhead, the P-8 builds the evidence chain. Time-stamped video locks the timeline. Electronic support measures catch the flavor of the jammers, not a number soup, but the signature of who's pushing noise and when it spikes. That feed becomes the de facto black box. When both sides argue later, the tape and the cut speak with more weight than memory. Then the wild card. An isolated ping. Not a chorus, not a track, just a hint that something submerged might be watching, or screening, or staging. One noise in the water forces you to widen your model. You're no longer solving a surface puzzle. You're in multi-domain risk. You assume the worst you can justify and still avoid an overreaction that drags a silent platform into a loud crisis. So the destroyer signals, hard and clean, without a single shot. Helm puts steel between threat and ally, sliding to guard the Filipinos' beam. Directed hails go out, firm and measured, repeated with the same words so no one can later claim confusion. The radar picture brightens at selected ranges and sectors, a visible cue on their scopes that says we are painting you. You use presence, voice, and illumination as pressure. Rules of engagement hold because the signal is doing work. Notice what didn't happen. No chase. No bow gun warning burst. No target radars locked to trigger reflex moves. Instead, a short course insertion, a disciplined radio script, and a calibrated sensor profile take the air out of the incident. The cannon crews on the white hulls can see the angles have changed. The small boats feel the lee the destroyer throws, enough to breathe and keep moving. You've seen the ladder. Now we break down the exact decision points that flipped escort into active deterrence in under half a minute. Signal discipline won the day. Sensors, timing, and position turned into leverage, so trade kept moving and guns stayed cold. ISR fed proof, posture carried weight, and restraint held the line without handing over initiative. That's deterrence you can replay, frame by frame, and defend in any room that matters. What would you do at the ROE pivot, hail harder, shoulder the hull, or light up targeting radar? Comment your choice below and subscribe if you want more real-time tactical breakdowns. Steel, water, electrons, then signals, that latter kept a $3.5 trillion artery flowing today. The next test comes fast, and the map won't stay still.